Hi there, Agile friends. Get ready for the World Tour of Agile at the Agile Online Summit 2023. You can join us from October 24th to 26th for a global showcase of cutting-edge Agile practices and insights. Join us at agileonlinesummit.com. This year, we will be featuring some of the best work done around the world and world-class keynotes. You can check all of that at agileonlinesummit.com. But the best part is that your ticket is on us. That's right, it's free to attend and immerse yourself in the world of Agile excellence. Don't miss out on this opportunity to level up your skills and network with peers and industry experts. Mark your calendars and secure your spot at AOS 23 today by visiting agileonlinesummit.com. So get your free ticket or opt for the full digital pass that lets you keep all the conference videos forever and organize, why not, Agile learning sessions at work. You can get the full digital access at agileonlinesummit.com. I'll see you in the conference floor. Hello everybody, welcome to our TGIF and Friday episode this week with Seye Kuyinu. Hey Seye, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Vasco.
So today we talk product owner, and it's quite a deep topic. I don't know what angle you're going to take, but we'll definitely talk about some good and some bad news. Let's start first with the bad news. Share with us, Seye, what's potentially the worst product owner anti-pattern you've witnessed in your career?
The first one, which I feel like everybody has at some level or the other has witnessed, is when a product owner is disengaged, totally disengaged. I feel like that's the number one thing. In fact, how that sometimes comes out is, one, they're not involved in discussions that lead to clarity for the software teams. And oftentimes I see product owners who use the backlog as a to-do list, and they just throw things in there and then walk away like, hey, do this, and then I'm out of here. So disengagement is one anti-pattern that I think is that I've noticed. The second one is treating backlogs as a to-do list, especially if the backlog isn't deep enough, or when product owners don't understand what a DEEP backlog is. You have backlog items that are not detailed at all. You have them that are not, when there's no detail enough to be able to even make estimations. You have backlogs that have no semblance of prioritization, or no should I say method in which prioritization occurs within the backlog. When I see product owners who don't understand that nuance, I see it as a definite red flag.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously we are in our lives as Scrum Masters for sure going to meet some of these product owners,
Yes.
the disengaged ones, the ones that use the product backlog as a to-do list. I prefer to call it shopping list, because it does feel sometimes like it's just a list of vegetables to get from the market, right? So Seye, share with us, what have you learned about dealing with product owners that might be experiencing these anti-patterns?
Yeah, so from my experience, there are obviously so many reasons, or should I say so many the cause of these anti-patterns can be nuanced. I've seen situations where an organization decides we're going to adopt Agile, we're going to hire a bunch of Scrum Masters, but they don't think about product ownership. And so a lot of the product owners are people who have been in the organization, who kind of sort of understand the product they've understood the product for a long time. They're thrown into this, this awkward position of being Agile product owners, but don't understand what that means. So for me, it's obviously, like we talked about in the other day, it's one, understanding what success looks like even for whichever role that they've been assigned. Then from an agile perspective, it begins to look like more of a coaching relationship based off of my understanding of their own goals, their own individual goals. I usually start from their own individual goals to their own to say the team's goal, or whichever team that these product owners work with. What does a good team look like? What does a good product look like? Then I help them to more or less to shape what that looks like. And more likely than not, it usually starts from getting closer to them, getting to being in their faces almost all the time to work with them, as opposed to telling them what is wrong. So that has been one of the things that I do. I've also been in situations where product owners, especially when the organization is new, is just getting into Agile, product owners are often, I see a sense of seeing themselves as the leader of the team. So it almost always looks like them trying to assign things to individuals within the teams, or shoulder tapping people within the teams, or members of the teams to work on this one thing that has not even been put in the backlog. That seems to be another anti-pattern that I see. Something else that is also common is that I've witnessed is when the product owner doesn't understand how to prioritize based on the fact that they work with multiple stakeholders. And what I've done
and they just ask for everything at the same time.
Exactly. So it's almost always interesting to be able to sit down and talk about, oh yeah, if two people are screaming, who do we
serve first?
Maybe we should start with the person who screams the loudest. And I think and if we start with that, then how does that help us?
I think these different anti-patterns also highlight the importance for us as Scrum Masters to be ready to coach our product owners, right? To be able to speak their language, and also to help them define success, and also to help them get the different strategies or techniques they need in order to perform their job. Because let's be honest, it's not enough to know what a great product owner looks like. It does help, but we do need to give them time and support for them to change from whatever they used to be. Maybe they used to be like a salesperson or a business analyst or a project manager, right? And they need to learn a completely new role, and they need to then perform in that role. So we need to be there for them as well, just like we are there for the teams that we serve.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but let's look at what a great product owner looks like. So Seye, share with us potentially the best product owner you've ever worked with. How did they work?
This looks like I have an opportunity to shout out to Ellen Munson. She's probably one of the best product owners I've ever worked with. And one of the things that, working with her, one of the things that I found out is, one, she had a background as a Scrum Master. So she started out as a Scrum Master. She has a really calm personality, and so she brings some level of calm into whichever engagement she is in. But I think one thing that I really noticed is her ability to it's been her ability to experiment, even if she doesn't understand what great looks like. When I talk with her as a coach, I see scenarios or situations. It's more like can we try this? And then together we strike an agreement to try something. And if it doesn't work, then we trash it. If it works, it works, and being able to have that mindset of experimentation, I find is one of the things that defines her ability to work as a really great product owner. And not just even that, it's the the way she interacts with both stakeholders, with developers, other agilists or other Scrum Masters, just that whole balance of in that entire cycle has been something that I saw was really powerful. But obviously, just working with her, it's always been interesting seeing how great she is and not knowing exactly, like, if I need to replicate this with another product owner, where do I start from? Could it be the education from the perspective of product, or should it be, just understanding what Agile really is? The heart of, I like to say the heart of Agile. It's not so much about the frameworks and how the frameworks are done. It's what exactly do we want to accomplish with the mindset, this thing that we've called Agile. But she has embodied that whole servant leadership thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is quite often hard to know exactly what makes great product owners that great. But yes, by looking at many, right? That's why we do this episode in the first place. By looking at many, we can see certain patterns, right?
Absolutely.
And you were talking about this particular product owner having a calm personality. Where do you think that being calm really helps the product owner?
Where do I think it helps them? I think it's in almost all scenario. If I would throw this here, I think it's almost all scenarios, because being able to, first of all, sit down with developers to say, this is the direction our stakeholders are looking at, and this is what we need to be able to, this is what I'm thinking, and this is where this is the direction in which we're going. What do you think? Or have we missed any part? Are we aligned? Sometimes there are situations where I would say there are situations where teams begin to come up with, we can't do that, or we shouldn't be going in this direction. Being able to put a calm to that storm becomes really, really important for a product owner, and not just even in being able to communicate things like timelines with stakeholders who are more inclined to see things in terms of timelines, and being able to understand, what does my team setup look like? What do our backlogs say? What are product delivery plan? What does it look like, and how can I communicate that? But you can't communicate those things without having some level of calm. You can't communicate. I don't see a situation where you can even be calm enough to express yourself without understanding what calm is.
Yeah, absolutely. And that ability to bring calm to others, I think that's also a great point, because sometimes we get into heated debates, and that's okay, because we are humans. We bring emotions with us, right? And sometimes we kind of get triggered, and we want to, hey, but you're not understanding me, whatever that reason is. But when somebody is able to, hey, let's listen this out, let's hear this out, and let's try to understand what's there, and then let's try to understand the other side as well, and let's try to come up with how do these things relate to the goal we have, and that ability to be focused on the goal in the end, right? Like always keeping the eye on the ball, right? Like not get involved in the debate, which needs to happen, but rather to be able to extract the important information out of the debate.
Yes, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah. And I feel like that's the nature of people who can bring calm into the situation. It's the ability to distinguish between the goal and, the personalities and the personality plays that are going on. Yeah. So you're right about that.
Absolutely. Well, so that was Friday. We're getting close to the end, Seye. So before we go, do share with us, where can we find you and the work that you're doing?
You can find me on SeyeKuyinu.com. That's like a portal to every other thing that I'm doing. I'm going to be one of the keynote speakers for the North Florida Agile meetup on the 17th of August. I am on LinkedIn as Seye Kuyinu, and on Twitter, now it's called X, as Seye, just my first name.
We'll still call it Twitter.
Yes. So I think SeyeKuyinu.com is a portal that leads to every other thing that I've been involved in. So
absolutely, and why not reach out to Seye and ask a few follow-up questions, engage, learn from each other.
Absolutely. I love
Seye, it's been a pleasure to have you here on the show. Thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you, Vasco. Like I said, your podcast has helped me to hear different people's perspectives. And a lot of times, I can't count how many times I'm just sitting down, listening to the podcast. An idea comes up from someone you're talking to, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I need in this scenario. So thank you so much for, getting the courage to pull this off. Thank you so much, Vasco.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm glad it is having an impact. That's why we do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Seye.
You're welcome.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast host, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. So join us at scrummasterpodcast.com and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more full week of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.